Jungle Cruise, directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, just hit HBO Max and theaters. I have to say, going into this movie, okay, another Disney film, I don't know what to expect from Disney these days. I have to say, I was really impressed by this movie. Am I saying that? This film is incredibly well choreographed. The scenes in the first act are just cram-packed with action, and around every corner there's another choreographed sequence that's really well done. Funny dialogue. The Rock and Emily Blunt together have a great chemistry. The script's really entertaining for this movie. It really works. The jokes land.
Yeah.
This film has an aura to it of The Mummy or Indiana Jones or those types of summer blockbuster adventure movies. The soundtrack's awesome, really soaring, giving some of those classic Hollywood vibes. It has a great classic adventure movie feel to it that really works. And the story's really good. The villains are really good. I have to say though, there are kind of two villains in this movie without giving too much away. You have on one hand the classic German general who's after the treasure that everyone else is after. He's in the U-boat. That's a very classic villain. But on the other hand, you have these Spanish undead conquistadors that are after the same treasure that everyone else is after. I would say, looking back, that I would want more of the conquistadors than the German villain, but both of them are in the movie and they work really well, and the acting is good and it's believable.
It does. It does work.
I will say there's a couple times in the movie where there is a lot of talking going on, and it does drag in the second act in a few sequences where you're like, okay, when are things going to start happening? This movie probably could have been 10-15 minutes shorter in length, but that doesn't really take away from what the movie offers, which is an incredible adventure with really good original story, characters, and villains. My only wish that really I know isn't going to happen is that they wouldn't make a sequel out of this, because this is going to do pretty well in the box office, I think. I think the story's great on its own just to leave as is, but there's money to be made off of this film, I can already tell. So I know there's probably going to be a sequel down the road, and that kind of upsets me a little bit. This movie is so great on its own. The story has a nice conclusion. At times I wish Hollywood wouldn't jump to sequels, but we will probably see a sequel from this film. But on its own, I think it's definitely worth checking out. The acting's great. The action is gripping, keeps you on the edge of your seat. The story's good. The villains are good. The supporting cast is good. The setting is good. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10.